Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Where are your people?
I just sent a reminder. I'm hoping that they will join soon.
Okay. What's the next this thing for this new month?
It's Power BI. That's the next
Okay,
two.
Power BI. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's fine. There's one guy in is it either MMBA 4. But the guy he can. I'm seeing whether he can come and take one session on, although it's part of SQL, but it's under no SQL.
Okay.
So teaching something like MongoDB. It's still part of, under your database, right? You have your SQL, you also have no SQL.
Yes, sir.
So is that other aspect that I'd like him to touch?
All right,
Like,
sir. Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe whenever he communicates again, we can discuss with him so that he can find time to come and take control.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Chinoye. Good afternoon, Dr. Francis. Happy
Good
Sunday, sir.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Right. We said we can manage those are here. Peter, are you here?
Yes, so
Did you just are you passing through or you are here?
I'm passing through and I'm also here at the same time.
You are passing
Good
through.
afternoon.
Wow. Peter, I saw your presentation that day. Which this one was that? Was it last week?
Okay.
You were bidding. I was really impressed too.
Thank you, sir.
Discussing finance like a consultant. Wow.
Now you do the job now.
Tell me that the job, you see that did the job.
Now you do the job.
I was really impressed too.
Thank you so much.
If I thought you would be the one to win it too.
No, my money is too much. It's not my kind of thing. We need someone who is going to do the money is going to make impact on.
Okay.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff.
Sorry, well, great job.
Thank you so much.
I just remember, I see Peter from which day? Now see EBITDA 10x. I say, now wow. Hey, well done.
Thank you.
Chinyere.
My dear, good afternoon, everyone.
How are you?
Fine. How are you? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Okay. Joshua, I think we can start now, right? At least.
Yes.
If the other people are joining, they will join, but if not, we'll continue. All right, so what we are trying to, so I think this will be our last meeting for the month. So we'll be rounding up with our SQL, isn't it? We'll be rounding up with SQL, okay? So in case you have any questions or things that are not still clear, you can always ask. But I'll just do an overview again. Remember, as data analysts, we basically do three things. What are they? What are the three things we do? What are the things? Before you manipulate data, you must do something first now.
Yes. Data extraction.
You extract the data, isn't it? You extract the data. After extracting the data, what do we do next? What? I didn't get that. Yeah, you can clean, transform, right? Then ultimately it's about what? Analyzing it, right? But before you analyze, you must clean and transform, right? Then we can now visualize, okay? I would say most times this data is usually stored somewhere, isn't it?
Yes.
Data is usually stored where?
Yes.
Where is it stored?
Database.
In the database. And remember, a database is any container, is it not, that stores data? Even your brain is a database, isn't it? But here we are talking about computer database, okay? So we now need to what? Connect to this database to what? Extract what? The data, right? And the tool we use to do that is known as what? What tool do we use to do that?
Is it a query?
Yes, that is your SQL, structural query language. So you are querying the data, right? So that's why as data analyst, one of the critical skills you must learn is what? SQL. So you should be able to what? connect to the database, collect whatever data you want, clean, transform, and do whatever you want to do. Okay. Because the moment you don't have this skill, it means you'll be at the mercy of whoever can extract the data for you. Okay. And most times management want to take decisions, doesn't it? So they need you to do your analysis and present your work reports. Okay. And that's why whenever you are presenting, you don't start talking about how you did it, how you use the SQL. Nobody cares about how you did it. What did you find? So tell us, what did you find out, isn't it? So that's why at the end of the day, whether you extract the data, you analyze it, right? This is what management want to see. This is what they understand, all right? So this will lead us to next month's agenda, is it not? Which is going to be on Power BI, is it not? To share the insights, because ultimately management want to hear three things, right? How is it increasing our revenue? Is it not? How is it reducing our cost? Or how is it going to what, increase our profits? Right? So irrespective of the analysis you are trying to do, this is what they want to hear. Because ultimately it's about what? Driving, making the business was sustainable. Right? So these are things we are looking at. But you see, before you get to this point, you must first of all be able to what, get that data. So that's why this is a critical skill. So that's why when you look at the job description of any role of a data analyst, one of the skill set you see is what? SQL, isn't it? So SQL is the language that we use, the programming language we use to communicate with the database, right? So this is the language. But the software, is it not? The software that we use, is it not, to create the database, is it not, manipulate the database, retrieve the database, right? They are called what? DBMS, which is what? Database what? Management system. An example is what? MySQL, right? Another example is what? Microsoft SQL Server. Is it not? You also have your Oracle Enterprise, but you know that your MySQL is also Oracle, but it's the open source, it's the free version. But you also have the Oracle Enterprise. This is the paid version. These are the common ones that you have. But you still have some other ones. Which other ones are we familiar with? Apart from MySQL and Microsoft SQL Server. Which other one are we familiar with? Yes.
No one from me.
Okay, you have heard of PostgreSQL, right? PostgreSQL. You have it's Beaver. It's another one again. SQLite. Those are now other ones. SQLite. So these are some of the other ones that you hear of. Okay, but these are the common ones that you are going to see. All right. So that's about that. You know, this is already revision, so always feel free to ask questions where you're not clear. Where you are not clear. All right, so let me share my SQL. So remember, when you are entering your workbench, right? You remember your username. What is your username?
Root.
Root, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Most of the username is what? Root. What is the server name?
Local host.
Local host. You can see the local host, is it not? I remember I was talking about your IP, because in most organizations they would have created an IP for you, isn't it? You have your IP, your username and password. So in this case, you have your username as root, the default. you have your password, isn't it? Because when we get to Power BI, right? Because you also need to learn how to connect SQL to Power BI, because you don't want to have a situation where you first come to SQL, export it out, take it back to Power BI and start your analysis there. No, right inside Power BI, you connect into the database, extract the data. So those queries we have been writing on SQL, you'll be writing it right inside Power BI to extract that data, then do your cleaning and transformation and do your visualization. Okay, so that's one good thing about the Power BI is end to end, right? Even the same thing, when you also get to Python, you can also connect to a database in Python. Okay, so the same way you'll be writing your script, you'll be writing it inside Python or Power BI, even your Tableau also. So that's why it's important you must remember what your username, that password that you created, is not your server, then also know the database you are trying to connect to. So let's create a new one. Okay, good. So let's say, for example, you are entering the database, isn't it? You have connected it. You don't know what to do. Isn't it? What's the first thing we need to check? What's the first thing we need to do?
So get all database.
Show what? Show what?
All databases.
All data. So show databases, right? So, and what we are going to see is that if you remember, there's a problem in the organization, isn't it? From that problem, isn't it? You learn to ask the right questions. Isn't it? There are certain questions you want answers to. Right? We gave an example. For example, your sales is dropping. Isn't it? What's the critical question we will ask? There is a problem of sales. What's the question we are going to ask? What are the questions we are going to ask?
Like why?
Remember that why is a broad question, is it not?
Yes.
So to break it down, what do? We now have to dimension them, isn't it?
Yes.
Into question of what?
Which location?
You know, what? Who?
Who,
You know,
where?
right? When?
Where?
Is it not? How? Is it not? So what are they buying? Is it not? Which table we answer question of what?
What are they buying? Product table.
Products.
Product table, is it not? Product table. Who is buying?
Customers.
Customers
Your
table.
customers, isn't it? Your customers. Where are they buying?
Location.
The location, is it not? When are they buying?
Time.
Your time, is it not? Or dates.
Yes.
Date or time, isn't it? How are they buying? It can be your medium, is it not? In which they are buying. So by the time you'll be able to answer all these questions, it will give you the question of what? Why? Is it not? So all these are referred to as what? Your dimension. Is it not? They are called your dimension. Why this is called your what? Facts. Is it not? And we talk about the kind of relationship. What will be the relationship? What will be the relationship?
Peace.
Eh?
Okay. As a relationship in all of connecting all of them.
Yes. Remember we drew a diagram now, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Product ID.
Yes. Yes, but what is the relationship between your dimension table and your fact table that you want to see?
What's the primary key?
Yeah, if you remember, each of the tables must have a primary key now, right? Yes, but when we link the tables together now, that relationship is called what?
Dr. Francis, I've forgotten that.
I'm writing it for you now. What does this mean?
Stays. What's that?
What does this? This is one now. I'm writing one.
Mm.
And what is this?
Asterisk.
What does asterisk mean?
Multiplication.
Ah. That's a one-to-many relationship.
Oh,
Is that not what we said? Remember your pivot table now, isn't it? When you drag region to row, drag sales to where? Values, isn't it? It will summarize that your region into 4. That is the unique one, because you cannot have duplicates there. Why that's your many, it will aggregate it for you by doing what? A sum. So that is why we are doing what? A one-to-many what relationship. Isn't it? And that's why when you see your data, you have to build your what? Data model in form of what? A star schema. Right? Or what do we call it again? Which other name do we call it? Entity relationship diagram. Right? All right. I hope this is okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, good. Peter, I hope this does not sound like Greek.
A bit of Greek.
A bit of Greek, okay. But in case anything is not clear, you can always ask.
No problem, sir.
All right. Okay. So we say that based on the problem, we ask what questions, So the objective of your analysis is to do what? What's the objective of the analysis? Is to provide what? The answers to these questions. Where are the answers found? Where are the answers found?
On the database.
in the
Different
data.
tables.
Database, in the database. And to communicate with this database, what do we need?
Write a query.
The query, that's your what? SQL, isn't it? So you understand the whole logic now, right? So those your questions are like your dimensions, isn't it? Why the answers is your facts table. So you have your table that we have those questions. You have what you have the answer. So it can be your sales, your profit, your quantity. So whatever this thing that you want to answer. Okay. So this is just a holistic missing. So we need what? The database, isn't it? So we need to communicate with that database. All right. So now we are inside the database. Now we are inside the database. It's just like English language, isn't it? So I'll just say show, because I want to see everything inside the data. So I'll say show databases. And that's it. Show database. We list all your databases there, isn't it?
Yes.
So if we are looking for something like what? Sales. So look at sales now, isn't it? So if I want to check sales, I'll say what? Use what? Sales. So I'll run that again. Use sales. It means I've committed it to memory. So you can see sales now. So what do I want to do? I want to check the tables inside that database. Is it not? Remember, we say a database is more than a table. So a database is made up of what? Tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. Okay, good. So if I want to see the tables, what do I do? Show tables. And I run it. They show me the table. Have I seen the table? Yes. So now I want to extract the data. So what do I do? Select star. Star means what?
Oh.
Everything. Select everything from where? Sales. Sales what? Table.
Sales table underscore table.
Sales underscore table. All right. And we have that, isn't it? So we have extracted whatever this thing we need. So most time when they export the data for you, they just send it to you as a CSV file. It is that file you go and open in Excel or Power BI and start your analysis. But once you understand how to use SQL, you don't need anybody now. You just go straight into the database, collect whatever data you need, and analyze. Okay. So even if at all you don't understand SQL, at least you should be able to go through this process to collect the entire data. But the only problem with this approach is that sometimes the data is too large. Imagine like a company like maybe MTN, maybe just in one day, you can imagine the volume of transactions that are happening, is it not? So by the time you say select star, that means you are selecting billion of records. So imagine you are selecting billions of records from one table, billion of records from another table. You are not bringing all of them together. It will be too large now, isn't it? And again, it will be maybe too slow because of this large one. Because remember, as the data increases, the performance will reduce it. Okay, so that's why it's important we what? Select the specific columns that we are interested in. So rather than going to take it into Excel to start cleaning again, just clean everything at once. All right. So if I want to select specific columns, which columns should we select? Let's look at it. Which columns do you want us to select?
Order ID.
So let me paste it here. Which column do you want us to select? Let me bring that down. So you can see the columns now. Okay, so which column do you want to select?
Order ID.
It will be select what now? Order ID. What again?
Customer name.
Customer name.
Product ID.
Product ID. What again?
City.
City. Okay.
Face.
Segment.
Segments. Okay. What again?
Sales.
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 Okay, sales. Okay.
Quantity and profit.
Quantity and profit. Okay, quantity and profits. Right. So remember, see what we have done before. Select star. You know, star means everything. But here we are not selecting everything, is it not? We now selected the specific columns, is it not? So it means to separate each column, we use what? A comma, isn't it? But the last column, we will not use a comma there. That means it has ended there. So the next line will be from where? Where are we selecting it from? From where? Sales what? Table.
Sales table.
Sales table. But remember, best practice, is it not? Call the surname and the name, is it not? Remember, we have what? The surname. The surname is like what? The database name, isn't it? Why the name is like the table name? The first name. So this is like your database. So this database name is like the family name, right? Why the first name is maybe like the first son or so, the first name of the child. But it may have other children. Okay. But sometimes we may have to call it in full, isn't it? So what do? We'll call it, what's the name of the database? So best practice, what's the name of the database? What's the name of the database?
Sales.
Sales. What's the name of the table?
Sales underscore table.
Sales underscore table. So this is best practice, how you should be writing it. If we were in SQL Server, we'll write it as sales.dbo.sales table. Right? What does DBO stand for? What does DBO stand for? Database
object.
So remember, these are objects. These are data. Remember, this is your database. These are now the objects. So a table is an object, a view is an object, a stored procedure, a function is an object. Okay. Good. So we can now select it this way. Now, if we run it like this, with this work, if we run it like this with this work, Will this work for us? Will it work? Why?
I'm skeptical about the spacing.
The spacing, is it not? The spacing, because SQL doesn't like this space, is it not? So when you are creating database, it would have given you an error. So that's why normally when you are writing, you create it with another that space, you use another score. So we have something like sales underscore table when you are creating, is it not? But if you have already imported it and you have imported the space along with it, then you will now have to use what? The inverted what? Commas, is it not? So you close it like this, inverted what? Commas, right? Will this work now? Will this work now?
It should.
It should work. All right, good. So that is it now, isn't it? So now we can now what, export it or do whatever we want to do. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. All right, good. So what we have done, we have gone into the database, looked at the entire database, and remember, there's an alternative way of looking at it. So let's say, for example, you see the first stage was go through the database, show me all the databases, is it not? Use the particular database, is it not? Show me all tables in that database, is it not? Then I will now select. That's how we did it. An alternative way of doing it, instead of going through this approach of saying show database, use sales database, and show tables, an alternative way would have been select star from where? From where? Information what? Schema. What is a schema? What is a schema? What is a schema? What is a schema?
A schema is like the umbrella where we have on our database.
Yes, just like can you see these are the schema? So these are all your databases here. So it's like a database, is it not? So give me the information, is it not? About what that schema, but is the tables I want. Can you see that? So that way I say information schema. Because when I had run show databases here, you might see it somewhere the information schema. Can you see information schema here?
Yes.
But now we are checking all the information about it. So let's run that. So can you see that now? But the difference here is that this one will give us the database and the table name, everything inside there. Can you see that? So if I so all those ones are the system database. So that's all you are seeing, sys. But every other one you can see it now. Can you see that? You can see the secular, right? You can see you can see store. You can see different ones. Where's our sales? Can you see sales and table? Is it not?
Yes.
So if, for example, I want to pick HR, this HR data, how will I read it now? HR data. If I want to pick this HR data, what do I do now?
Select.
Yes, select.
Oh.
Select star.
Yes. From human resources.hr.
Human resources.hr. That is all low. Even if this is the only thing that you have learned in SQL, at least you know how to extract data. That's the most important thing. Is it not? So even if you don't want the entire table, you now select the specific what columns. And that's all. Clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we can now go for that, isn't it? So this is an alternative way of doing it, isn't it? So it will take care of, and for example, when you are doing something like in Microsoft SQL Server, this is even the approach that you are going to use. In most of the databases, DBMS, this is the approach you use normally. This one only works in MySQL, right? Because remember, it's just like Igbo, in Anambra, they speak Igbo, is it not? In Asaba, they will speak what? Delta Igbo, is it not?
Yes, sir.
They are not exactly the
Yes,
same
sir.
thing. You know, they are not exactly, but when they are speaking, they can hear them. They can understand what they are saying.
Yeah.
Somebody say do, somebody say undo. They're almost saying the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the same way once you have learned one SQL, right? It's the same principle. The same principle that applies in every other one. Okay? The same principle that applies. All right. So that's for that. So let us look at this again. So if I am selecting, remember on the last column, you do not use a comma there, isn't it? You don't use a comma there. Otherwise, it will give you an error. So you have to remove that error. And again, while you are learning this, remember, the more errors you have, yes, it may be annoying, but that's actually when you are learning. Because if somebody is typing it and you are following and you are getting exactly the same thing, you have not learned anything yet. It is when you make mistakes, you now make the correction. At least next time, you now know what not to do. Right? You now know what not to do. Okay? So the more you practice it, the more errors you make, that's actually when you are learning. Because imagine an error that will take you almost a day to correct. But the moment you correct that thing, you know the pain you went through to correct it, isn't it? Next time, will you forget it?
Nope.
Will you forget it? So if I'm just typing, you are following, right? Then you go and type by yourself and put this comma there. You have been running it for 1 week, 2 days, 3 days. You have given up and say, I beg, this thing is too hard. So imagine how long it took you to now learn. And now realize it is just this comma there, isn't it? Because of that pain that it took you, next time you don't know how. So that I'll not go and cry for another 1 week, isn't it? So I now know that that comma on that should not be there. So there are little things that we take for granted, right? Maybe we may not appreciate the implication. Okay? But once we start making the error, that is actually when we are learning, when we now correct it. Especially when we correct it ourselves. Okay? Because if you make the mistake and somebody else points it out for you, again, it depends on the level of error, right? But at this stage when you are learning, it is better you have seen the correct one. Then you don't go one after line, check everything, right? In fact, sometimes you may even check, you are typing exactly the same thing, but the only difference is one space. That's all. That error can be there till you retype everything again. Okay? But as we keep learning, we are making mistakes, right? Correcting, then we are now improving. It doesn't mean that I will remember everything. And that's one thing about programming, right? I never liked anything programming. I'm just like, which day will I learn all these syntax? I've not finished learning my book. I want to come and learn all these syntax. When will I learn it? I just realized that it's not about the syntax is the least of your problem. What you need to understand is, why am I doing it? What do I want to achieve? Right? So I want to go to my database. The next question is, how do I go to my database? Because when you are learning, you are just seeing they are typing, and they are getting results. But you are not understanding, where am I going to? So that's why I started with that framework. There's a problem, is it not? From that problem, there are questions, is it not? So it means that the objective of my analysis is to provide answers to those questions. Is it not? In order to answer those questions, I need the data, right? And where is that data stored? It's stored in the database. Now I am inside the database, show databases, isn't it? Now that I have seen the database, right? Now I have seen the database, use that particular database. Okay. Now I am inside that database. Show me the tables in that database. Now that I have seen the tables, show me everything inside that table. That is the framework. So once you have got that, you are able to at least go into a database and select the data. So where the advanced part now comes in is where you now have to start breaking it down in details. So just think about it. Everything you do in Excel, you can do it here. Everything you do in Excel, you can do it in SQL. Okay? But why is it that now, why is it that we now have to move from SQL to what? From Excel to the SQL? Because remember that Excel has its limitations. And what is the major limitation of Excel? What is the major limitation of Excel? What is the
Is
major
it the cells?
The what?
The cell quantity also.
The
It
what?
can take like large data sets, I guess.
Yes, large data set. So how many rows does Excel have? How many rows does Excel have? How many rows?
So it has 16 rows. Okay, it has, I think, 16,000. 16,300.
Hey, I hope we can differentiate
No.
between rows and columns.
That's columns. That's columns. Okay.
Ah.
So the rows is 1 million and something.
So about 1 million, you know. So the moment it's getting to 1,200,000, Excel will hands up and say, this thing passed me, isn't it? So that's why even when we are learning data analytics and we are using Excel, yes, actually everything you do in Excel is what you want to do in data analytics, actually, right? But the only challenge is that in most organizations, the volume of transaction is so huge and much more complex. So it means that the huge data needs to be stored somewhere. Excel can no longer handle that. And that aspect is that sometimes we need to also automate this task. Yes, you can also automate in Excel, right? But you see, in most organizations, you will need to what? Produce it in the form of a product or an app, you know, to bring it to life. So you need to deploy it. So in that case now, you also need to do some form of programming to build that application. So that's why that automation needs to be there. Okay. So that's why as data analyst, you must also learn some form of programming. It may not be that deep, but you actually need some level of it. Okay. If you actually want to excel in it. Because even whatever we are doing, whether it is Python, R, SQL, everything we can do there can be done in Excel. The only difference is what the scale in which you are going to do it. Okay, so that's why once you are okay with Excel, whatever you want to do, ask yourself, okay, if I was doing it in Excel, how will I do it in SQL? Or how will I do it in Python? Or how will I do it in R? Or how will I do it in Power BI or Tableau? Okay, so once you are using Excel as the framework, then it's now easier for you to learn. All right. Okay, so what we have done so far, we have selected the entire table. We have selected specific tables, columns from that table. I think that's what we have done so far. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were doing Excel, if you, for example, I want to filter only maybe, so we have different segments now. So I want to filter just maybe corporates. I want to know the corporate segments. Corporate segments. Corporate. So what will I do? I want to see only the corporate segments in Excel. How will you do it in Excel?
You can select segments and then pick corporate.
You in Excel, how we have done it in Excel?
Make it a table, then the field they sort by the drop down menu beside each column.
And what is that thing called? What's it called? That's drop down.
Not sort. Is it filter?
Filter. Is it not? Exactly. You want to filter, is it not? So you now ask yourself, okay, if I want to filter in SQL, how will I now do it? Is it not? So that is what you're now saying. Okay, I want where what segments is equal to what?
Corporate.
Corporate, is it not? Where segment is equal to what? Corporate. Remember, you see, what does this semicolon mean? This semicolon, what does it mean?
Terminate the query.
Terminate the query, is it not? So if I have run it this way, which result will come out?
Only the.
So you see why it's important to know when to put the semicolon, isn't it? So it will tell you when to terminate it. So now we are running it this way. So at the end of every query, put your semicolon. So we can tell it this is where I want it to end. Otherwise, we come here and end it. All right. So let's run that. So you can see what has happened now. Only what corporates. Can you see that? So it means I have what filtered. If I want to arrange it in ascending or descending order, what do we do in Excel? If you want to arrange it,
Sort by.
you sort, is it not? So when you want to filter in SQL, we use what? Where to filter. When you want to sort, what do we use? Order by towards sort. So the same thing we have here, but now we want to what? Order by what? Order by what? Let's say customer name, right? Customer name. So by default, every software by default will be in ascending order by default. Is it not? So if I now run this, it means I want to arrange it now. So it will be what? D followed by what? G, right?
G.
So let's run that and check. So can you see that A, B, C, D, E? Can you see that that's filtered? But if I want it in, let's say, for example, in ascending order. So by default, this is ascending order. By default, but if you want it in descending order, descending. So let me do on that one. So in descending order, what do we do? Descending. Descending order. Correct. Descending. So if you see, it starts from what? Z, whatever. Can you see that? Clear? So we have filtered, we have sort, is it not? Now, you know, sometimes again, when you want to do your analysis, right, you say, okay, I want my top 10, is it not? Maybe top 10 or top 5. Top 10 or top 5, right? So let's say, for example, I want top 10. Top 10 sales, is it not? Top 10 sales. So how will I do that? Top 10 sales. Top 10. If you're in Excel, how we have done it in Excel? Top 10.
Can use a pivot table to do that.
Yes, pivot table here. Then what will you do? Then what will you now do?
Then on the pivot table, we limit the first time. I mean, we pick.
No, in Excel first. In Excel, just leave SQL. Let's think about Excel first. When we do it in Excel ahead, then we'll come back to SQL so that you now know what we are trying to do.
It all depends on Dr. Francis.
So if you're in Excel,
can order by and take the first 10, then delete others.
So your pivot table, you know there's a drop down now, is it not?
Yes, yes.
So you now go to what? Sort by, is it not? You now see sort value as, so take what you see there. You now see top 10.
Top 10, yes.
You know, you see top 10, bottom 10 there. Good. So that same top 10 you want to do here, in Excel, we'll call it limits. It's called what? Limits. So let's say limit 10. Limit 10, give me what? The 10. Right? Give me what? 10 there. The first 10. Can you see that? But because this is descending order. So if I had removed it from here, okay, let me copy that and take this out. So that's descending order. So let's do that. So if I remove this descending order, it means just give me the first 10. Give me the first 10. Give me the first 10, isn't it? The first 10. But because it's sorting it out, right? But just give me the first 10. So if I remove order by, it means you just arrange it the normal way the table is, isn't it? Just give me, limit it, give me the first 10. So that's what they are doing. Give me the first 10. But if, for example, it is profit I wanted, maybe I want to see the profits, just profit. So what do I do? I want to see top 10 profits. Top 10 profits. What do I now do? top 10 profits.
Order by
Order by what now? Profit, is it not?
profit. Yes.
Order by profits. How do I want to order it by? Top 10. Is it in ascending or descending order?
It's top 10, that's descending.
Descending order, isn't it? Descending order. Then limit it by what? 10. Can you see that? Then the first term. If you want it to be 5, you just put here 5. Then run that to give you top 5 by profit. Can you see that? Now, if for example you're in a Microsoft SQL server, what you would have done there is called top. You would have said top 5 or bottom 5. That's SQL server. But here you call it limits. Okay. So now we have seen how to what? Enter the database, select, look at the entire tables there, the entire database, select a specific database, is it not? Select the entire table, look at the entire tables, select a specific table, is it not? Select specific columns from that table, isn't it? We have seen how to sort, we have seen how to filter, is it not? We have seen how to what? Limit, is it not? Set top 10, bottom 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Francis, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Let this particular table we have now,
Yes.
this one,
Yes.
let's assume I want it to be under my schemas, under the sales table.
Okay.
So how do I do this?
This particular one, like
Yes,
that
yes,
one you have
I've
created like
queried.
this.
Yes, I've queried,
Okay.
I've joined. Now I have a
Okay. So
new
what
data.
you now do, it now leads to you to a view.
Okay.
You know, like for example, imagine you are going to in Excel, you are finished sorting, you are finished filtering, you know. So that table you want, you just copy it and take to another sheet. Is it not? You just take that your table
Yes.
and go and put it in another sheet. So that you don't
Exactly.
stress yourself to go and start cleaning and do every other thing, isn't it? So that's what we now do. We now say create what? Maybe create what? Sales. Let me say create sales 2. You say create view. That's what it's called, a view. Create view sales 2 as. Then you now call everything.
Uh-huh.
Do you see that? So that so that's where a view now comes in. We can say create view as. Then you now write everything here. So you see now, for example, you see in views, there's nothing here now, right?
Okay.
So now inside these views, we should see what sales what 2. Or let me call it orders. Or let's call it top 5. Let's call it top 5. Top 5, is it not?
Yes.
So let's run that. So create, right? So if I refresh it now, you can see views now, top 5.
Oh, great.
So if I now say select what? Start from where? Top 5, isn't it?
Yes.
It will now go inside and pick exactly what you want.
I see.
I think this is what you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
So that's a view.
Okay.
But meanwhile, your original table is still there somewhere. Oh, but this is just like I've copied and pasted somewhere in another sheet.
Yes, yes. I know, Dr. Francis, you know the original tables are there.
Yes.
Where I extracted this.
Yes.
There are now, with this now, I've created a new table at reference.
Yes.
For whatever reasons.
So that means that you always, so anytime you want that table now, you always be using the view.
View, okay.
Yes.
I got that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Clear? All right. So if there are any other questions to ask so that we can just go through.
The next question I have, I'm sure when you get there, I will just
okay. All right.
allow you to go the sequence you are going. Thank you.
All right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so we have seen how to what? Select what? A table is not. We have seen how to sort. We have seen how to filter, right? We have seen how to what? Limit it, isn't it? We have seen how to filter. It's not to filter. What do we use to filter in Excel, in SQL? To filter.
Order by.
To filter.
Limit.
Filter.
Where?
Filter.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh,
So go and write it somewhere. To filter. Where? Is it not? To sort. Order by.
Order by.
So that's why I always say use Excel. Think about it like in Excel. If I was to do it in Excel, right? Now you don't know what I want to do in Excel. So how will I do that same thing in SQL? Can you see that? That would be the what how you should be thinking about it. You know, sometimes even when I look at the entire, let's go back to the entire table. Okay, so this sales table, right? So let me run it. Let me run it. You know, for example, if I look at okay, let's say region, right? If you look at region, you know, region, we have several regions there, isn't it? We have several regions there. I want to now see what are the unique regions. So how will I look at the unique regions? So if I say select, maybe region, is it not? From where? Select region from where? Sales underscore table, isn't it? So if I run it like this, you see, you only give me one of the column, isn't it? Now I want to see the unique what? The unique region. So what do? You want to see the unique region. So there's something called what? Distinct. I'm sure you guys discussed it. Distinct region. Can you see that? Distinct. You know, in Excel, there's a function called unique to extract the unique listing out, is it not? So here you also have what? Distinct. So it's to get what? Unique. All right, unique. So that's the distinct, right? Another thing again you also need to learn is that just imagine, for example, in pivot table, you see this is our region. In your pivot table now, you want to get region and sales. You know, so how will we do it? You want to get region and sales. So you want to know which region is the highest region. In Excel, how we have done it in Excel. How we have done it in Excel. You want to get the region with the highest sales. How we have done it in Excel. Region with the highest sales. Yes? How we have done
still use the pivot table.
so
Use
in the
drop
pivot
down.
table, yeah, so in the pivot table, so tell me how you do it in the pivot table now.
So when you've pivoted the region, the column for region, then you sort the highest number.
Okay. All right. So you first of all drag region to where? The row, isn't it? Drag your sales where?
to values.
To values, isn't it? Good. Now it will bring two columns for you. That regions, you see plenty regions. It will summarize them into how many? These 4. It will bring them to 4, is it not? Why the sales? What will happen to sales? What will happen to sales?
It will sum it.
It will sum it up, is it not? It will sum the sales. Is it not? It will sum the sales. So the same idea, so it will give you region and what? Sales. Then you can now sort it, is it not? If you want. All right. So the same idea we want to do here. Okay. So it means that we are going to have what? Region, is it not? So I want to see region, right? So I'll say select region, is it not? And I want to see what? Sales, isn't it? And I want to see what? Sales. From where? From where? This table, is it not? This is what I want to see. Okay. So let's run that. So can you see what it has done for you? Can you see what it has brought out everything? But what we actually want to do is that it should summarize this into how many? It will bring this region into how many?
Regions.
4, is it not? Then the sales, what will happen to sales?
Sum it.
It will sum it up. So we can now what? Say sum what? These sales. This region, what do we want to do? We are now going to group by. So group by what? Region. Group by what? Region. Can you see that? Group by what? Region. Let's run that. Can you see what has happened? Do you see what has happened?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can only apply your group by to an aggregate like this. Can you see that? You can only apply to what? An aggregate. Right? So what you are seeing, some sales, you see the way it has come out, it's not looking very presentable, is it not? It's not very neat. Is it? It's not looking very neat. Right? So instead of calling it some sale, what other name can we call it? What name can we call it?
Value.
Add.
Value. Test value.
Let's say total value, right? Total value, isn't it?
Yes.
So for example, if I say president, who will answer me? If I say president, who will answer me? President, who will answer me in this club?
Chino.
Chino, yeah. Is president your name?
No.
Is president your name?
No, it's not.
But anytime they call president, you are the one that will answer it, is it not? It's
Yes.
called what? An alias. It's called what? An alias. Is it not? So we represent it as, it means Chinoye as president. So whether I call president or Chinoye, she will answer me. Isn't it? So here we say as what? Total what?
Value.
Total, let's say total sales, isn't it?
Process.
So sum of as total sales. Can you see that? This is now. Clear? You understand the alias now, right?
Yes, sir.
Another way of doing the alias, so for example, if you see this region, what other name can we call region? Let's say branches. I want to call it branches now. Now watch, what did I do now? For region, what did I do? For the region, what have I done? For the region, what did I do now? Yes, for the region, what did I do now?
You typed branches.
I just put a space and branches, is it not?
Hmm.
For this sum of sales, what did I use? As. So let's run it and check now. What has happened? What did you notice now?
Region is not branches.
It's now branches. So it means that there are two ways of doing an alias. What are the two ways? There are two ways of indicating an alias. What are the two ways?
Space or as.
A space or what? As. So you must understand the implication of it. Remember, when we are selecting this entire table here, you know when we are selecting this entire table, right? You know when we selected this entire table. So this way you have to understand the implication of everything you are doing. Let me take this one out. So let's say we run this now. You see this table we ran, is it not? Let's say you remove this comma there. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen?
We'll probably change the name to ID.
So what?
Wait, what am I looking at?
Look at it. This ID, this customer name. Now I have removed that comma. Now, what do you think will happen? Because once you are typing it now and you omit that comma now, you now see the problem. It will work, but you may not be getting the right thing. So look at it now. What do you think will happen if I run this? Do you see what has happened? Can you see what has happened? Do we see what happened there?
So what has happened? Because there's a mismatch somehow. Customer name.
That's it now. What was the issue there now? Look
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah, come on, okay.
Is it not?
Exactly. Okay.
Now this comma is not there. What does that mean? What's the implication of this now?
Other ID is now customer name.
Other IDs as customer name. Is it not? So that's why when you make one mistake there, it may run. So that's why some errors you need to also understand. They will run, but it's giving you the wrong results. Okay. So that why it's good to understand how they work. So this is what they call what? An alias. It's called an alias, isn't it? It's called an alias. All right. I hope that's clear. Now, another thing again is that when we run this, isn't it? When we run this, you see how the result was looking. If you're in Excel now, you would not like it to present it like you want everything maybe in 2 decimal places now. So what do we now do? If you're in Excel now, you want this thing to now look proper. What do you now do?
Number format.
Number format. Okay. Then what will you do?
Oh yeah, then you reduce it to 2 decimal places.
Reduce to 2
But
decimal.
that
What's the
shortcut
what's the
and
function to do that? What's the function to do that in Excel? What's the function to do that in Excel?
Decreasing decimal.
Yes, the function. What's the function? To either increase or reduce the decimal places. What's the function in Excel?
Comma style.
Is that?
Comma style.
The function. To put it to 2 decimal places. In
should I
Excel.
say decimal?
Not necessarily decimal, but it's round now. Is it not?
Okay, function in formula. Okay, we're looking at the menu bar.
Now, so here you can also say round what? What do I want to round? I want to round this sum, comma, in how many decimal places? 2. That result, call it what? Total sales. Do you understand that now? So you see, I'll first of all work on this one. Then whatever result I now have, I will now round it up. After I round it up, I will now call it as this. So let's run that and check. So does it look proper now? Is it looking proper now?
Yep.
So you see what you have done. So if, for example, I want to sort it by, so is this in ascending order? Is it in ascending order? So if I want to make it in ascending order, what do I now do? What do I now do? If I want to make it in ascending order and descending order, I mean, from the highest to lowest. So what do we now do?
Then I think it's the order by, right?
Order by, exactly. Order by what?
Total sales.
Now take notes. So you see, we are using the alias here, right? We are using the alias now. So let's run that. Did it work?
Yes.
Yes, but this one, it was in what? In ascending order, is it not? So what do we want?
Descending.
Descending.
Order.
Yes.
Descending order. Exactly. Do you see that? There are some instances that you cannot use the alias, right? You can only use the column name, right? You cannot use the alias. You can only use what? The column name. So that's why instead of using the alias, some instances, in case it doesn't work, you only take this sum of sales. Can you see this sum of sales? I can just take it the sum of sales, right? Let's run that and check. You see, that is giving you that total, isn't it? Total sales. So let me take this total sales out and use sum of sales. Can you see that?
Okay.
So I can either use the column name or I can use the alias. So if in case you use the alias and it's giving you error, just come back and use just that column name. Do you get? So that will also be another way of doing it. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Yes. Okay, that's fine. So it means that, you see, when you are working with SQL, right, there's an order it must work. There's an order it must work. So what we have looked at, you have select from, where, is it not? Group by. So you have select from, where, group by. There's another one called having. There's another one called order by, then limits. Can you see that? It must follow this order. Otherwise, now the only one that is strange, which one is strange to us? Having, right? Having, right?
Yes, having.
It's only having, right? But these other ones, you're okay with it.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, having is like, it's like this where. Having is like where, but it can only be used for group by. So let me just let me see if I can use an example. Where is that our data? Hey, let's look at it. You see, for example, you see this is our data here that we run here. Okay, let's come here. Okay. So if I say, it's just like I would have said, okay, show me where branches is greater than what now? Let's say greater than what? 2,000. Where branches, is it not? Is greater than 2,000. So what do we now do? Where branches is greater than 2,000. So what do we now do now? Where branches is greater than 2,000. So what will happen now? Where branches is greater than 2,000. So what will I do? So you see the results here now, isn't it? But I want to see where branches or region is greater than 2,000. So which one is greater than 2,000 now? Which is greater than 2,000?
Central, East.
Central, East, and West. I think that's the result we are expected to have.
Yes, sir.
So if I say where what now? Where what branches is greater than what? 2,000. Is that not it? Where branches, we are first of all group it.
Okay, exactly.
After I grouped it, I sorted by. After I sorted by, I'm now saying, okay, but show me where branches is greater than 2. I think you are saying it.
Yes.
Now, if I run it like this, there's no way it's going to work because there's an order. Can you see that? Where must come before your group by, your having, your order by, your limits. So if I go and carry where and put it in last, it's not going to work. Now, if I take this where like this here and say, okay, from, is it not where? And I put where here. Can you see that? And I run it now. See, I don't know what you are saying. Or node column branches, is it not? So if I say I don't know where branches is, that branches we can, okay, let's call it region. At least you should know what region is it not? Branches was the alias, isn't it? All right. So let's check it now. Now I see it as run, but was it correct? Did you see
No.
anything for you? No. The reason is that if I check the original data, if I check the original data as it is, right? If I check the original data as it is, let me see. Where was the original data here? Select star from, let's see. If I check those region, where's my region? You see the sales region, you see how they are the values are small. You see how the values are small. You may not see anyone that is up to 2,000. Can you see that? There are some, but it's not plenty, just maybe like one, right? So which means that it is this total that should give you that. So it means that when I am aggregating it, because I want to like filter and already aggregate value, I cannot use the where. So after my group by, I'll now say having, can you see that? Having what? Having what? Region greater than what? 2,000. Having region greater than what? 2,000. So let's check now. Having region greater than 2,000. You say I can't find what they are saying. So what does that mean? So let's see. Okay, let's see branches here. Let's see branches. Will branches work for us? Still giving us blank. So what's going on there?
No. So, Dr. Francis, I'm thinking.
What about total sales?
Total
yes, having total
sales.
sales. Yes.
Having what?
Total sales.
Having total
Underscore.
sales greater than what? 2,000, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's see. Can we see that now? Do you see how it works now? So having is like a filter for your group by on these aggregates. So having is like an advanced form of where, but having only works with what? The group by. So that's why when you are ordering it, this is the order I must follow. Select, from, home, group by, having, order by limit. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's the only place where maybe that one is the strange one that you may have not seen, but usually works with group by. Your where will just work with your normal data, but your having will work with the group by. All right, clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. So it's just the same, just think about the way you do it in Excel, right? So, but the only difference now is that, in Excel, you have to redo that every time again. But in programming now, right? As you are writing whatever it needs to do, just be keeping it somewhere, like your code book. Like your code book. So anytime you want to do it, okay, you may not remember it, but you say, okay, I want to get the sum. Which one? I'll go and copy that code, put it there. At least I know where to edit. Isn't it? They just put the, whatever columns or the fields that you want there and run it there and to work once. But the most important thing, you understand how the syntax work. So even if I go online now, how to sort in Excel, in SQL, at least when I see a result, I'll say, okay, this one looks okay. This one looks like what I'm looking for. Because if you have no idea what it is, then You just copy everything and just be trying, just give you error. So that's why when you learn the basics, so even when you go online now or you see somebody's code, at least you should be able to read it to know what they are trying to achieve there. Clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
let's go to there's another thing again. Sometimes you see, especially when it comes to where's that our full data now? Aha. Where's our full data? Is Peter still with us or Peter has run away?
I'm still here.
Yeah, still here.
Just following step by step.
Yeah, a strong man. But is it making sense?
I'm just understanding the concept. I'll go through the beginning.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
following step by step.
Okay, step by step. But yeah, but have you ever programmed before?
Yes, I write program, but it's C that I do.
Oh, you even write program. So this is even straightforward now for you now.
Yes, I understand what's happening. Just that I need
Okay.
to do step by step.
Because once you have learned that way, and that you need to also understand is that somebody who has learned maybe C#, right? Or virtual does not make you a data analyst, isn't it?
Yeah,
And somebody who has learned Python or SQL does not make you a programmer,
that's true.
is it not? But you see, the person who is a programmer, it will be easier for you to learn this than for a data analyst to go and say he wants to learn how to write software. Do you see it?
Yes.
So if you come from a software engineering background, then it's much more easier to understand what you are trying to do. Okay, because this much more, it's not as deep as the way a software programmer or engineer will go, because there's a whole lot of things he needs to build, packages and libraries he will need. Okay. But that's it. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So let's say, for example, let's say if you look at these names, if you look at maybe your customer names, you see your customer names, right? You are looking for a particular person, right? But you are not sure what the person's name is, but you know that the person's name starts from what now? Let's say the person's name starts from what? Let's say the person's name starts from where? Maybe AB or something.
DA.
DA, okay. The person's name starts from, but you don't know. I just know that customer D something, but I don't know who is it not? But I know it starts from DA something. All right. So it means that if I want to get the person, right? So I don't know who the person is, but I know it's in this table. So I'll say where what? The customer name, is it not?
Yes.
Where the customer name, where the customer name is like, can you see the word like? Like what now? DA,
Percentage. Yes, DA.
DA, it's like, I don't know what, but I know it's like, and I will put it, either I put in quotation, double quotation mark, okay? Like, okay, so you see that percentage sign, they are referred to as what? Wildcards. They are referred to as what? Wildcards. So once I see that percentage in front of that name, it means it begins with. If I see it at the beginning of it, it means it ends with, right? So let's run it first and see. So it starts with DA. So if I check this person's name, it starts with DA, is it not? So say, okay, Darren. Okay, so that's the name, Darren. If I say it starts with PE, is it not? I know his name is PE. Aha, I can see Pete there. Can you see that? It begins with. But if I say, okay, the name ends with PE. Can you see that now? Ends with. So when you see that percentage at the beginning, it means ends with PE. If I run that, it ends with PE. There's somebody name that ends with PE. Let's say somebody names that ends with A. Name ends with A. No name ends with A. No name ends with A. Okay, let
Let's
me try.
use E.
Okay, let me use E. So we say ends with what? Ends with E. All right, let's try and see. Aha. So let's see the names. So these are the names that ends with what? E. Can you see that? But assuming I say, okay, in between the names, I know there's E there. In between, somewhere within the name, there's an E. So you see the 2% sign now. Within it, there's what? So this is what? Within. This is what? Within. This is what? Begins. Is it not? This one is what? This one begin or ends? No, this one ends with. Ends. This is what? Begins. So you can use hashtag there. So those ones are like you are commenting it out. All right. So if I say within that name, there's something like E. Within it, there's E somewhere there, is it not? Or I say HE. Or let me say within that name, let's say there's PE. Let's check. Within the names, let's say there's PE there. Within the name, there's PE there, somewhere within. Let's say another name, AE, within there, AE. There's somebody name within with AE. Okay, what about EA? Let's see, EA. Do you have anybody within it that they have EA? EA. Can you see that? So these are called what? Wild cards. They are called what? Wild cards. Clear?
Yes,
They
sir.
are called wild
Yes,
cards.
sir.
Wild cards. Okay, they are called wild cards. All right. Now another thing again, I would like to explain. You see, sometimes when you are working, remember that we are working as data and you are learning SQL as data analyst, not database administrator. I think you remember. Because
Yes.
there's a difference.
Yes,
Because
sir.
the database, you be the one in charge of the database. But most times you may not be the one in charge of what? The database, isn't it? So your own job is to just go into the data, collect whatever data that you want, isn't it? Then you work with it. Okay. Now, when you are working with this, especially when you are working with dates, I think I explained that. Because when you are working with data, it's also very important, right? Let's say, where's that? It's okay, let's call it. Okay, select star from your hand, this one. So let me run that. Now you can see the dates. How is the date format like? What's the date format like? What is the date format?
Day, month, year.
Day, month, years, you know. And we say that in SQL, what should be the date format?
Month,
Yeah.
day,
Month,
year. Wait. Year.
Yeah. Month, date.
Year,
Sorry.
month, date, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Year, month, date.
Yeah.
But you see, most of them, you are going to see the date as what? The format of the date to be as what? Day, month, years, you know. So if I say, for example, can you tell me how much we made in January? Or maybe on Sunday. Can you tell me how much you have sold on Sunday? From this table, can you tell us how much you sold on Sunday?
No.
So you see, with that kind of analysis, it will be a bit difficult to work with it like this, isn't it? So that's why when you are working with this, you need to first of all set the data type, right? What should be the data type? 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 And you know how to check the data type? If I say describe what's the name of my table now? Sales table, describe
Sales and also
table. Describe sales table. So can you see all the data type? You see your date. Your date is as a what? What's your date?
Text.
It's a text. But what should be the original data type? What should be the data type?
Date should be date.
Date, isn't it? It should be date, isn't it? It should be date. Okay. But it's already a text. So what do we want to do? We want to convert it to what? A date. So we are converting it what? From a string to what? A date. Right? So what we can do, we can now say update. What are we updating? This table, isn't it? Let me write it in full. Sales, update what? Sales table, isn't it? So what do we want to do? We want to set what? What's the name of the column? Order date, isn't it? Set order what? Dates to what? To what?
date.
To string. So there's a function called string to date. There's a function called what? String to date. Did you guys do this? Did you guys talk about?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can still remember it. So it will be order. I think it's order dates now we have there. Order date, isn't it? But what is the format? What is the format? It is what? Day, month, year. I think that's the format now.
Yes.
Is that not the format?
Mhm.
Day, month, year. Okay, so the format is day, month, year. So I have to write the format out. Day.
But we also have a ship date.
Yes, but we can just pick because that's one I'm working with. If you want to change the two, you can change the both of them.
Okay.
But I want to work with just one and try. Let's see. So this is day. This is dates. You have what? The month, isn't it? And you have what? The year. So dates, month, year. Dates, month, year. So let's look at it. So update this table, isn't it? What do we want to do? We want to set these dates. Where is one there? Set this other dates, isn't it? To what? To what? String to dates. To string to dates. So let's run that and check. Aha. What did he say? He said unknown column what? DMY in field lists. DMY. Let's see. Dates.
Dates. Would date have to be 2D to represent?
That's another thing. Let me no, I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure it should be that way. So we have other date, set other date equals to string to date. Then we have other dates, dates, month, year. This is supposed to. Okay. I think let me see. It's supposed to be this. I think it's supposed to be this. This is supposed to be a string because this was a space. So let me run it and check. So it's as if nothing happened, right? As if nothing happened.
So what did you do?
I was using the inverted comma here.
Yes.
But that is supposed to be for space. I'm supposed to have used this normal string quotation. Yes. So what we have done now, we have converted it from what string to what date, isn't it? So if I go and run describe, let me see describe, let's see. You see now, right? It's looking
Right.
at that text, is it not?
Yes.
Now let us see the implication. Now, if I want to now check, can you give me the year? The year, right? So let's say year. So I'll say select what now? I want just the year, isn't it? I want only the year. From where? What's the name of the table? What column? Order what?
Other
Date.
date.
You know, order date. From where?
Sales.sales table.
Sales table. Let's run that now. And check. So I want to extract the year. Did the year come out?
Yes.
The year came out, is it not? Now you'll be like, but it's supposed to have come out now. Let us try this same thing with what was the name of the other column? Was it ship?
Yes.
Date? Ship date, right? So where's my select star? So we have another column called ship date, is it not? So let's run the same thing for ship dates. So this is for what? Ship dates. So I want to extract the year for ship dates. Cannot see anything there. So can you see the difference? Yeah? Can you see
Because
the
we have
difference?
because
You
we
have
have
not
not
yet converted it because it's already a string. So we want to work with it as a date, but it's still a string. So we use what? String to date. It's called string to date.
Okay, now for the other date, Dr.
Yes.
Francis, for the other date, now we have converted it to year. Now I
Yes.
want to know what sales was made in summer. Okay, let's say I want to know what sales was made in October.
In October. So that October is a month now, isn't it?
Yes, a month.
It's month. So if we are doing it that way, okay. So just the same way. So let's say we have year, then we have, let's say, sales. Right? We have year, we have sales. So let's take that first. So you can see the year, you can see the sales. Isn't it?
Yes.
So the same way, if I want to get the month, so I'll just say month, right? Comma, sales. Month, comma, sales. So can you see that?
Okay.
It's giving me month 11, month 12, months, whatever, isn't it? But now, you see, that number itself may not make much sense for me, right? But if I want to know if it's correct, right? How many months are we expected to have? If I want to know it's correct, how many months are we expected to have? 12 months, isn't it? We're expected to have what? 12 months, okay? So rather than it showing me month, other months, if I put space month there, we understand what's going on there. If I put space month, what is it doing there?
It's treating it as
Space month, what is it doing there? Space month.
Is to make it as
as month now. So instead of writing it, you just call it month,
yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Then this my sales, what do I want to do? So I want to sum it up, isn't it? So sum up what? My sales. I think you understand what is going on there now, isn't it? So add it up, then what will I do? Group by what? Group by month, isn't it? And I can also say order by what? Months. I hope you understand what's going on here now.
Yes.
So I want to run everything and check. So you see, one, but I need to also arrange it in what now?
In months.
Arrange it in what now?
Ascending order.
In ascending order, isn't
Ascending
it?
order, okay.
Well, it's not supposed to be okay. It means we did not sell in the month of. It means we did not sell in the month of what? February and March.
February and March. Okay,
Isn't it? That's what we are seeing there. Then you are seeing all these numbers like this, isn't it? So we want to make it call this one revenue, you know. So what do we do?
As revenue.
space revenue.
As revenue.
Okay, which one do you prefer? As you prefer as revenue?
Yes.
Okay. Then we want to round it up. So what do we do? Round, round, comma, 2. Isn't it? Round it to 2 decimal places. Then let's run it there. So can you see that now?
Excellent.
But you see somebody reading it. This does not make sense now. What is 1, 2, 3, 4? So rather than doing this, we can now use what? Another function called month name. Do you see that? Month name. Right? Month name. So let's run the first month. So let me run the month name so that we'll see what's going on there. Let me remove all these things so that we'll see what's going on. So I want to run it with what? Month name. So another function called what? Can you see the month name now? So month brings out the month number. Do you see that? Month gives you what? The month number. The month number. Why the month name? Month name gives you what? Name of the month. Month name gives you what? Name of the month. Isn't it? So the same way, so if I want to arrange this one, so what do we do now? I'll say month name as, let's say, month, right? Comma. Then I will run all this. Now, you know the danger of this month and this month here. You know the danger. They are bearing the same name, but you know they have implication. Here, it is acting as what? Here, it is acting as what? An alias, is it not?
As an heading, yes.
Here, it is acting as what?
The column name.
The column name. Is it not? See the column name now, is it not? But month here is acting as what? A function. So you have to be careful, though. So you now know who we are talking to. Month gives you what? The month number, isn't it? Month name gives you the name of the month. I think that's what we have agreed.
Yes.
So here, let me call it as month so that we'll not have any problem there. So I'll now say group by what? Group by what? Group by what?
By month name.
Month.
By month name. Group by month name. Okay. Order by what? Order by what?
Order by month. But it could still be months because so it could still be month. Group by okay, order by month.
Order by what?
Month.
Order by month. Order by month. Let's go fight again so that we understand what is going on. You see, that month give me the month number, isn't it? If I go and put the space here, it means give me, call this thing as month. When we do it like this, it looks as if there's no issue. You are just lucky. But when we come to month name now, let's start with month name. So let's run it from here now and see now. Okay. So select what? Month name as what? Month, is not? Sum it up, is not? Details. Okay. Then group by what? Group by what are we grouping by? Group by what? This month. Here, is it not? This is what we want to group by now.
Month name, yes.
Which we called it as what? Month. Which we call it as what? Month. Do you see that? Which we call it as what? Month. Right? We call it as what? Month. Then order by what?
By month.
By
Order
month.
by month.
Okay, let's run this first one first, then we'll sort the other one out. So let's run this now.
Order by month name.
So can we see what has happened now?
Yes.
Aha. So you now see that instead of you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, it's now calling it by the month name, is it not? Now order by what?
Month.
Month. Is it in ascending order or descending? Because when you say order by month, what does month do? What does month do?
Arrange the months in ascending order.
In what?
If we say
Month.
it should
Letters
order by
ascending
ascending or
order.
descending, it's likely not going to follow
Because it's following exactly what you said now, is it not?
alphabet.
A,
Yes.
T, J, J. Because
Yeah.
month does not, the way you see month, you see it as what? A text.
The text, yeah.
But what do you want to do? You want to sort it by what? You want
By
to
how
sort
they
it by
call
what?
it,
That's
the
on
month.
monthly basis.
By the month number, is it not? And the month number is
Yes.
what? The function called month, isn't it?
Month.
Month of what? Order dates. Can we see that now? Month of what? The order dates. That is how it's going to arrange it. You see the difference now?
Yes, sir.
That was the danger of using just months. When we did at first, you didn't understand the implication because it was just 1, 2, 3. Because text, it will read it as ABC, but the number is in an order. Because your month follows a specific order. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's why I cannot use month name to sort it out. I will now have to use what the month number to sort it out. I hope that's clear.
Yes, it is.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is how you see the same way you'd have done it in your Excel. Can you see that? The same way you'd have done it in your Excel. The same principle is what's applying, but you just need to know which number am I sorting by. The same way, if for example, I wanted to get maybe day of the week, right? Day of the week. You want to get day of the week, isn't it? Day of the week. So the same way, let us select maybe up to this point. So select now. Even if I think there's even a function called day. Let me see day. I think there's a function called day. Let's see. Month 8. Okay, because of the group by. Okay, let me include the group by. Group by month. Group by month. Okay, so let me run this and check. So this is what he has, okay? So if I say, can you give me the day? Day. Let me see day. Can you see what day is given to you? 1, 2, 3 to, so this one will be by what? Day, is it not? So this one is just giving you the number. So this is just day, right?
Day, group by day.
Group by day, right? Group by day, goods. Group by day. Can I see the day? Then if you want to now sort it out, what do we now do? Order by day, isn't it?
Yes.
Order by day. Now you see at this point it's as if there's no problem, is it not? Because it's giving you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 30. So that is the day. But there's another one again called what? Day of the week. Or I think it's called weekday. Let's see, weekday. Let's see, weekday. Let me call it weekday. Let's run it and check. Select weekday. So that's the one, week 1. Okay, let me check it. Weekday. So let's run everything and check. So group by what?
Weekday.
Weekday. And sort by order by what? Weekday. So let's run that and check. So what do you notice now? What do you notice now?
Arrange the numbers.
I don't know.
It's arranging it.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday numbers.
Now you see, the way it's arranging it is that. Sorry, please, can we mute, please?
Hi, Bami.
No problem. Sorry, I'm very sorry, please.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Now take note, you see, when it's arranging like this, you know what it's doing for you? It's arranging like this from Monday
Sunday.
to Sunday, is it not? Monday to Sunday. Monday starts from where? 0. Sunday ends with what? 6. Now, in your mind, you are not sure which is which, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't know which is which, right? So there's another function again, right? There's another function again called what? Day name. It's called what? Day name. It's called day name. So let's say day name. Yeah. So let me call it. Okay, let's leave it like this and check. Let me run this. Now, can you see what it has done?
Excellent. Okay.
It has given you Friday, Monday, Saturday, but you are, so let us rearrange it and now check what exactly we are doing here. Okay. So we have day. So the function to give you the name of the week, isn't it? That day name is called day name. To give you the name is called day name. But if it's to give you the number, it is what? Weekday. Is it not? And it gives you 0 to 6. So how do we now know what exactly we want to do here? So let's call it here. Let's say call it days. Is it not? Let's call it what? Days. Right? Let's call it day. Okay, let's call it days. Because there's a function called days, so that will not mistake it. So group by what? The days, is it not? Now, order by what now? Order by what? Order by what?
Order by weekday.
Order by what? Week day, is it not? Of what? Order date. Can you see that? So let's run that now and check what's going on. So can you see it now? So that weekday starts 0 to 6, means it's from what? Monday to Sunday.
Monday.
Can you see that? So can I now tell you which day of the week do we sell the most? Can we now answer that question now?
Yes.
Yes, Thursday.
So if I go and just click on it, we sort it out, right? Thursday. Can you see Thursday is the one that sets that? So these are the ways you can also do some kind of deeper analysis than your normal listing. Okay, I hope this is clear.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Clear. Good.
For it to be very, very clear, we have to go back to the video.
Yes. No, but the point here is that you see that your alias, you see why it's very important to know your alias and also be able to differentiate between a function and the alias
And an
name.
alias.
Because they may look the same, but they have implications. All right, so those are the 2 tricks that you just needed to learn there. Right, these are the 2 tricks. Then understand month name, day name, and day of the week. Right, so weekday will give you the number. The day name will give you the Monday to whatever. That's just the only 2 things you need to understand there. All right. Did you guys talk about case when?
Case when?
Case when?
I remember. Maybe
Okay,
when you start, sir.
maybe we'll touch that last one and go. Because what we have done, you see, everything.
And I actually have a question, Dr.
Okay, yes,
Francis.
go ahead, yes.
And when you get it, okay, maybe I can share my screen and that you can add it to what you want to use to conclude.
Okay.
So we were given an assignment last week, right? And I couldn't really do much until this until about a few hours before the class.
Okay.
So can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so I've uploaded the tables.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to join to run this query, this one, right? So I wanted to join this. Join stock report product.
Yes.
With stock report categories. But on the category IDs, which is fine for me. Now, which is fine when I did the running, it gives me what I wanted.
Okay.
Now, but here, now I have joined this stock report product
Yes.
with stock report categories
Mm-hmm.
and stock report other details.
That means 2 tables.
Yes, now
Guys, you want
yes,
to join 3
tables.
tables.
Yes, 3 tables, but all of them
Okay.
have the same category IDs, which is here. There's a category ID here of the category.
Okay.
There's a
Okay, let's talk about joins then. So let me talk about joins
okay,
then.
sir.
I'll wrap
But
up.
especially like when you do more than one.
Yeah. So you want to join like 3 tables, isn't it? You want to join like 3 tables, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to join, right? Let's go to join. So join is in Excel, when you want to join 2 things, you want to bring 1 column to add to another table. Which function do we normally use? We can use a VLOOKUP. Is it not? So we want to take 1 column and join it to a particular table. But in SQL, we want to bring 2 tables. So it's more than 1 column, is it not? We want to bring 2 tables together and put it as 1. Okay. So what we explained that there are different kinds of joins, but the most common one you have in practice is what they call the inner join. So where this table matches exactly with what is in this table, bring them together. Inner join. But if I just want to merge them, so I can use either the left join. So in practice, most time we use what the left join. So join this right table to on the left table. So either use left join or inner join. But we have shown different kinds of joins, isn't it? Now let me look at a table where we have okay, I think we did one last week. Now we did awesome. I think it was it awesome chocolates? Yes, awesome chocolate. This one will be easier to understand.
Awesome chocolate.
So if I want to read this awesome chocolate now, how do I read it now? This table, maybe geography, awesome chocolate. How do we read it? Select star from where?
Awesome chocolate.
So remember, because of the space, we'll use what? Awesome chocolate dot what?
Geo.
Geo, right? I think this was the table we had.
Yes.
So watch what I'm doing now. I'll copy this field name. You know why I'm copying the field names?
Yes, sir.
So I can
For us to
remember
see the
what is
relationship.
there. You know, so I can remember what is there. Exactly. Then let me copy, paste. How many tables do we have there? 4, is it not? So we have
4.
people, we have products, and we have what?
Sales.
Sales, isn't it? Good. So if I run this first one, okay, I can see what is going on there. So I copy. So let me put it there. Products. Let me copy that. Isn't it? And what is the last one?
Sales.
Sales. Good. Now remember that we are breaking them into, we are going to break these tables. You know, first of all, before you even start anything, you must first of all ask yourself, how are these tables related? Isn't it?
Yes.
So that is why you are going to do your what? Data model, or what you call your what? Star schema. Which one is our fact table here?
Sales.
Sales is our fact table, isn't it? So we have sales here. We have what? Geography here. We have what? People here.
People.
And we have what? Products here. So we have geography, we have people, and we have what? Products. You know, and here's our word, sales. I'll now ask myself, what is the relationship between geography and sales? Is there a relationship?
Yes, GeoID.
GeoID. So I know that it's GeoID that is linking them together. Isn't it? What is relating people with sales?
SPID.
SPID. Every other person, I hope you are following.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
You are following. Okay, good. What's the relationship between product table and sales table?
PID.
PID. PID, isn't it? So I've seen there's a relationship between them, isn't it? Now that table I want to merge, it means I want to merge these three tables together. This with this with this, and this with this. I think something like this you're talking about.
Yes.
You want to join, even if it's 4, 5, 6, the same principle. Okay, the same principle. All right. So let's go. Now, is it the entire table you want or specific columns?
Specific column. Let's see
Specific columns. So let's select the specific columns that we want to see. So which columns do you want to see?
Okay, so since we let's select product ID.
You want to select product ID.
Okay, because that is the primary key. So
Yes.
let's select customer names.
Customer names.
Sales date, of course, not in that order. Anyway.
Customer names. Sales dates.
Boxes.
So customer names. It says sales what?
Sales date.
Okay, sales dates.
Yes.
Okay, sales
boxes.
Dates. Boxes.
Yes. Okay. So can I pick across the other?
Across anywhere, as long as that's what you want to see and the structure in which you want it.
Okay.
So this is customers, right? You want to see customers here.
Yes.
So this is customers. You want to see customers. You want to see the dates, is it not? You want to see the boxes. You want to see the amount.
Yeah, I want to see the amount.
You want to see
just
the amount.
Put it that way.
Okay. You want to see the amount. What again?
Category.
You want to see the category. Where is category? So category is here, isn't it? You want to see the category.
Salesperson.
You want to see who?
The salesperson.
Okay. Salesperson.
The location.
And you want to see the location. So where is
the region?
Location,
just the region.
okay. Location and the region. So this is the order in which you want it.
Of course, you could
change. This is the order in which you
yes.
want it, and they are going to come from different tables.
Yes, sir.
Is it not? And we'll bring them together in one place.
Yes, sir.
I hope everybody understand what you are doing. Just like in Excel, you go to sheet 1, copy the columns you want, go and paste in a new sheet.
Yes.
Go to sheet 2, copy the columns you want, go and paste in that sheet. Go to sheet 3, copy the columns and go and then bring all of them out. I think that's what you want to do in Excel. How you have done it in Excel.
Yeah.
Is it? So now we have selected the columns that we want, is it not? So we'll say select what? All these, is it not?
Yes.
From where? Which table did you start with? Although you can use any name, anyone. So it really doesn't matter. So
Awesome Chocolate says.
So we're calling the database name Awesome Chocolates, right? Dot sales. So from this table first, is it not?
Yes.
Good. You want to what? Inner join.
Inner join.
What are we joining on now? Which table are you joining?
Yeah, Awesome Chocolate Geo.
So you want to join it on what now? Geography, right?
Yes.
How do you want to join it? So join it on what now?
On Geo ID.
On sales dot Geo
ID equal to
equals to what?
Awesome dot Geo
dot Geo ID. Everybody, do you understand this? Do you understand what has happened? We pick the first table, is it not? Sales table. We want to join it on the second table called geography, isn't it? How do you want to join it? Remember, we have linked them now. We are joining it on this Geo ID. Is it not? So that way we call the database name, the table name, and what the column name. Because if you have said Joe ID equals to Joe ID, to have told you ambiguous, I don't know what you are saying. Remember what we said, that when there's problem, call the name in full. It's not at home. When you find trouble and your mother call your name in full, you know you have entered big problem, isn't it? So you know there's already going to be problem here. So you shout his name in full so that he will behave himself. So you call everything in full, is it not? So the database name, the table name, and the specific column. So there'll be no ambiguity there. So that is, we have joined two tables, is it not? Now, what's the second table you want to join?
Okay, say awesome chocolate people.
So inner join. So you see another one. What you
Again,
have said, and
okay,
you see where you said and no.
okay.
You continue it again. So that was the mistake you're making. So where you say and the other one, no.
Oh,
You now come back and say inner join. What am I joining again? What's the second
awesome
table?
chocolate people.
Dot what now?
The people
Dot people.
on
Dot what? People, isn't it? Join it on what?
on
You see? First table.
on SPID.
Second table, is it not? Third
Yes.
table, is it not? So how am I joining these two now?
Awesome
dot.
chocolate.
So what's the link between sales and people?
Yeah.
Sales and people is what?
So I want to SPID.
SPID equal to what
People.
now?
People
People
dot
dot
SPID.
what?
SPID.
SPID. Do you have any other table again you want to join?
Yes, the last one. Product.
Okay, what's the last one?
Product.
What is the last
Inner
one?
join.
Okay, so next one now will be inner join.
Awesome
The
chocolate
fourth
product.
table now is what?
Awesome chocolate product.
Products. Even if you have 10 tables, is it not? You bring that the same way you are going to bring them. So product, is it not? How do I want to join it?
Awesome chocolate sales dot PIP.
Dot what?
PIP.
PI. Is it PID?
PID. Okay.
Yes, PID equal to
Awesome chocolate product dot PID. But the sales date after the customer, where we will select customer, it should be the S, sale date, not sales date, I think.
Okay, sale date.
Yes.
Like this, okay. Otherwise, you give error. Yes. Okay, that's good. So do you see the essence of why you need to draw this diagram? So that you will know, okay, these are the tables and this is where they are connecting. Can you see that? So have we picked up the four tables now?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's run it now. And that's it. And this is exactly what you need your analysis on. Isn't it? So rather than you going to copy the entire table, remove the columns that you want and start working. You see with this one now, immediately, once I just do it once, that's why I don't need to do it again. I'll just go and correct wherever I want to do once. So that is the essence. And this is the exact skill that you need as an analyst. How to collect data from different tables and different databases. Is it not? Bring them together and start my what analysis.
Thank you so
that's
much.
Clear?
Yes, very clear.
Good. So it's until you make those errors, isn't it? That's when you start learning, oh, this is what I should not do. Isn't it? I say we learn from the mistakes that we make. And I can imagine how long it has taken you to do that. You have tried. Say,
yes.
But I was following this thing that this guy was doing, isn't it?
I actually went to your to one of the recording.
Yes, and you were following it, and it was
and it's 5 hours, so I couldn't finish.
Okay, I hope that is clear. Okay, so let me just explain that case where and let's go. But these are the things that we need as what data analysts. So that way, you see, when you say you want to start your data analyst journey, at first it's okay, isn't it? But if you are not disciplined, if you are not really determined, or you just want to join bandwagon, you see somehow you fall out of you. When the speed of the train has increased, you may jump out and say, hey, please, it's okay, let me stop here. isn't it? Why some those who are determined will hold on, is it not? No matter the speed, they are still holding on. All right, so let me just explain that case one, because that's also another very important concept you must also learn. So you see, sometimes you see, for example, like your what they call this thing now. Let me look for a typical table like okay, boxes. Okay, now let me use our normal so that we can just follow that data, because that was very easy for us to follow. Select star from this. Okay, good. Let's run this back. Let me clear this. Okay, you see this table now. Let's say, for example, let me take out, let me say, okay, select. Okay, let me take states. Okay, let me select states. Let me select what now? Okay, let's say quantity. Or let me just say region and quantity, right? Which one be easier? Region, quantity. Okay, let it be much. So states, let's say quantity. From where? From where? Sales dot what? Sales table. Something like this, right? Or maybe if we even let me even put this on. Let's even use customer name. Let's even use customer name so we can see our customers. Good, good, good. Now let's say we want to now create, for example, we want to now classify those our customers into maybe retail. Let's say we want to break them into retailers and bulk, or wholesalers or distributors, right? So for example, we can say if maybe less than 5, if the quantity is less than 5, call him a retailer. If it's greater than 5, call him what? Maybe a distributor, something like that. If you wanted to do it in Excel, how would you have done it in Excel? How would you have done it in Excel?
If statement.
Yeah? If statement, Abi?
Condition, yeah.
If. So we'd have said, if what? If what? Customer name. Is it customer name or quantity?
Quantity.
If quantity is less than what? 5, is it not? Call it what? If what? Quantity. Let's say you have rename your quantity. Is what? Let's say less than 5, is it not? What do you do? Call it what?
Retail.
Retail. Otherwise, call it what?
Wholesale.
Wholesale. Or let's say distributor.
Okay, yeah.
I think this is how we have done it in Excel. Isn't that how we have done it in Excel?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, good. So this is the true logic, isn't it? This is the true logic. This is the logic. If it's true, if it's false. Now, the same way you would have done it in Excel, So let's do the same thing here. So you can see select customer name, comma, quantity, isn't it? Comma. So I'll now say if what? If what? Quantity. If quantity is what? Less than or equal to 5, isn't it? Call it what? Call it what?
Retail.
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 Otherwise, call it what?
Distributor.
Distributor. Can you see that? Let's run it. Can you see that? Now, because of all these plenty names, what do we now do? Let's call it what? Customer type. Am I there?
Mm.
Do you see that?
Mm.
Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the same way, if you're having plenty ifs, you'd have said if, eh? But to avoid that kind of problem, that is why there's another method again called what? The case when. It's called case when. So let's look at how it works. So the same thing that we have done here, right? The same thing that we have done here. Okay. So we say select what? Customer name. Customer name. Select what again? Quantity. Isn't it? Select quantity. Now, but you see, in this case, what we would have had here is because we wanted to see quantity, that way we are selecting quantity. But if I only just wanted to see this customer type, then I don't need the quantity. Right? Do we get that?
Yes.
So if because I want to see, just to confirm, that's why I will leave it there. Otherwise, I will just say, I will remove it. So I say comma, okay. So what do I want to see? Case. So I can just say, you'd have said case when, but that case when, just to say, it's just like saying when what? When what? Quantity. When what? Quantity. When quantity is what? When quantity is what?
It's less than 5.
Is less than 5. When quantity is less than or equals to 5, comma, what should happen?
Retail.
Retail.
Then retail. Did you guys do something like this?
I think maybe
Then
I watched it.
Is greater than 5, is it not? Then call it what? Distributor. Is it not?
Okay.
L distributor. Or what you'd have even done, you'd have even said else distributor if you wanted, right? Or I can even say else. So if it's any other thing, call it others. Else, call it what? Others. Then end as what? End as what? Customer type. End as what? Customer type. Okay, I can just even say end as customer type, right? From which table? From where now? Where is the name of the table? Sales dot what? Sales underscore table. I hope, yeah, I think that should be all. It's not the same result.
So I'm still writing the command.
Oh, you're still writing the syntax. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
So the difference here is that you now be saying when, and you'll be done. That's the only difference. Now you just put in when, put all the conditions there. And you can easily classify it. I hope that's clear.
Yes.
So if you have maybe there are 3, 4, right? You can also, if you have maybe 3, 4 conditions, right? You can also be adding the conditions there. You can just be adding the conditions, right? You can be adding the conditions. So for example, let me give you another example. Let's say, for example, you want to make it maybe retail, bulk, and maybe distributor. Is it not? Maybe retail, bulk, and distributor. So I'll say select customer name, is it not? Select quantity, case when, is it not? When less than 5, call it what? Retail, is it not? 2, when is greater than 5, is it not? And quantity is less than 10. You see that? Then call it what? Maybe bulk. You see that? Then we can even say else, if it's more than that, call it a distributor. But if you want, you can also put it here again, the other condition here, where it is now what? Greater than what?
Greater than 5.
So here will be greater than 10 now, right? So greater than 10.
Okay.
Then call it what? Distributor. But if I want to make it easier, I would have just remove and just say else distributor. Do you get?
Okay.
So if it's greater than that, else, okay. So let's run that and check. So that means I have to have 3: retail, bulk, and what? Distributor. All right, retail, bulk. So let's arrange that. So retail. Then the last one, so bulk. So it means we have what? Let's check. So check any, so there's no greater than 10. Is it not?
Yes.
So that's why we stopped in bulk. But if I have said, okay, less than 3, greater than 3, right? Greater than 3 and less than maybe 6, then greater than 6, right? So let's run that. So let me arrange that. So 2 to, so from 6, Now you see where you have to also be careful, right? Check that is the syntax you are giving is giving the right thing. No. So you see, if it's greater than 5, it's supposed to call it what? Distributor. Is it not? But here it's now saying else others. So you have to be careful with that. Right? But no, sorry, I think it's here. So greater than 6, right? Greater than 6. And so let me now specify it. Greater than 6 and less than 10. Let me see. Yes, and less than 10. Then distributor, is it not? Otherwise, so that means if it's from 11 and above, call it others. So whenever you run it, always confirm that randomly that is giving you the right thing. That is giving you the right thing. 6 is still giving me others. Why is 6 giving us others? Why is 6 giving us others? Because we said at this point, greater than 5 and quantity less than 10, call it distributors. Okay, in that case, to avoid any problem, we can remove that guy here and here is call it distributors. So let's check. Run and check. So this is the correct, it's giving us correctly now, right? Yes, this is what will be. This is what it will be. So that is the case when. So you have seen the if, you have seen the case when, especially when you want to now create something, now say, oh, based on our bulk, so I want to now check which is more profitable for us. So if I want to now check by profit, so look at this now. If I want to now say, which of our customer type is more profitable? Is it retail, bulk, or what? Distributors, is it not? So what do we now do? So I can say select customer, select what? Let me even say select profits. Is it not? Then I can even say sum of what? Profit. I hope you understand what's going on here now. Do you understand what's going on here? Then you can now say group by what? Group by what? Customer what? Type.
Customer type.
Group by customer type. You see, at this stage now, we have gone a step further, isn't it? Group by customer type. So we have added, so let me call this one total profits. So let me run that again. Aha, then I even have to round it up here. Round. Comma 2. Close that. Run that and check again. Round. Okay, round. Say round does not exist. Round. Round. Aha. So I think it looks, so which is more profitable for us?
Retail.
Retail, isn't it? Then you can now explain. So these are, so when we talk about data analytics with Excel, so what you are doing here is data analytics with what? SQL. Can you see that? So that way, you see, sometimes you can also use SQL as what? A data analytics tool. But primarily it's for what? Storing your what? Data bases. Okay. So I think with this, we can come to the end for SQL, right? Unless we have any other
Before
question.
you come, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. I came across a challenge,
Yes.
and I will describe it using this particular we are working on.
Okay.
Supposing you have this kind of database
Yes.
where you have order dates and you have the shipping dates or delivery dates. Now, from the database, you now want to create a kind of situation where you can identify the number of items pending per date, per calendar dates.
Pending per calendar dates. Okay.
So that's the approach I'm trying to deploy. But if I have to do that, that means for order, I'll have to replicate it several times so that it will have multiple dates over which the order was fulfilled. That is my thoughts. Then I will be able to do a mapping of the number of those days, map it to calendar day, a calendar table, to be able to.
Now, is it in SQL you are talking about or in another tool?
I tried it in Excel, but I think it's an opportunity to ask you.
No, so what you want, so first of all, you see that your data model must be clear.
Yeah, exactly. The
You see that?
don't have that information.
You must be able, but I thought it was SQL, but actually you can do that in Power BI. Power BI will be able to handle that easily.
Oh.
Yes, Power
So
BI.
how will it replicate that that particular row item over the number of days in between the two?
So first of all, before we go, we first of all need to understand how that table is structured.
Okay.
So you look at the structure of the table, then you look at how they are related. How many tables do you just one table or you have several tables?
It's just one table I have, but
okay, so if it's one table, then you have to look at the structure first, isn't it? Then
yes.
what you may also do, you may now have to now break them into smaller tables to now try and build that relationship.
Okay. So how will I now create dates? A data that will have dates between the start dates and the end date.
In Power BI, you now have calendar auto.
I have calendar what?
Calendar auto.
Okay, yes, I know that one, yes.
You know the DAX function, calendar auto.
Yes, sir.
So in that calendar auto, you are going to create your own calendar table. Remember, I used to always say, once you see dates in Power BI, just go and create your own calendar table first.
Yeah.
So you have one table there, you now link it with that, connect, now tell Power BI, please use this as my date table.
Oh, yes.
So that's how Power BI will now connect it to that table, and you can now do all the counts in that date.
Okay.
But it's Power BI will be the easiest way to do it for you. But use this calendar auto for it. When we get to Power BI, I'm sure it will be there. But But it's a good question because although it's Power BI that will handle that easily. Power BI will handle it easily. All right. So I hope that's okay, right? At least just give you an idea. I thought it was even SQL. If it was SQL now, they would have been thinking of how you would have done your dates, you do your count star, right? Then you do your join.
Can you want get calendar table, create calendar table from SQL as well?
Calendar. So now for calendar table, right? You know, that's why what it does for you. So you see that calendar, this thing I was showing, that dates, this thing, where I converted it from. Were you here when we converted to dates?
Yes.
So as at this point, so when you're converting it to the dates, right? It is with this one, it will see the dates for you, right? But the only difference is that while your DAX, what that one does, you also create 1 year in advance because of your time intelligence, because you want to do previous year or last year, same period last year. So with your calendar also you can do that, but with SQL it will be difficult to do that. So that's why with this one, you just pick the exact date as you have, right? What you have done, you can actually do it in SQL, but it's just for you to think about it and how to break it down. That's just all, okay? But can you share it on the group so that we can all look at it, then we'll think about how to do it. But with this, I think we can come to the end of SQL, isn't it? So Chino, so who is taking, have you seen who will take the Power BI?
Yes, sir. So I'm talking to a couple people to take Power BI.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Yes,
so that's fine.
thank you.
So please let us try to install the Power BI before the next class, right? And always think about how to integrate. You know, so we have looked at how to link. We'll think about how to link our SQL inside Power BI, isn't it? We'll think about how to import data from CSV to SQL, isn't it? So once you're in Power BI, you're also going to import CSV file to Power BI, SQL database to what? Power BI. So we always think about how to think through it end to end, right? But what we have done in SQL so far is just enough for you, right, to put on your CV. Basic knowledge of SQL, as long as you have been practicing. But please, let us try to build a project based on, you can only learn with projects. Is that okay? Or just think about whatever you have been doing on Excel, bring it right here in SQL and try and build that same thing. Okay, that's the only way, because as you build your project for portfolio, the better for you, because now nobody cares about the certificate you have. What they are interested in, what have you done? Okay, so when you show the project, can you tell us what you did in the project and tell us what you found out? Okay, so those are the things we need to start learning, how to build our projects and generating insights from it. Okay, I'm sure we have attended some hackathons. We have seen some of those hackathons. You know, how did we attend that 10 analytics hackathon? I think somebody shared it on the group. Did we attend it? Did anybody attend the hackathon?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you'd have seen that it's something you can also do, right? The only difference now is the tool that you want to do.
Yes, sir.
But as
Yes,
you keep building your projects, you are building your skill that way. So that's why every tool that we learn, Excel, you build like 2 projects, SQL, 2 projects, Power BI, 2 projects, Python, maybe 2 projects, Python or R, 2 projects. Before you know it, at least you have a portfolio that you can work with. Okay. So please let us try and practice. But in case any other issue, you just let me know, then I'll just come in for the Power BI, just in case any of them cannot come in, right?
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
But I'll always be around to just see what's going on.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Francis.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, everyone.
Doctor.
Thank you,
All right.
Chinoye. Thank you, Abayomi.
All right, Peter. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Are we still going to see you?
Yes.
Did you benefit from today's one?
Yes, I'll go and start watching for the beginning.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yes.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.